Yes, yet again, today is no exception. This is our best panel we've ever had in the history of the show. We're going to start on the top right. We have Mind Your Biz. Don't ask him about his seed oil consumption, but do ask him, why does his water bottle look like a ketchup bottle? Then on the bottom right, we have...
So it'll be 2%.
Yeah, they'll keep changing
imaginary
the
numbers, like in calculus, I believe.
Well, speaking of calculus, Mind Your Biz, you're inside of a calculator right now. So I'm going to ask you this. I mean, if all that's needed to, stop inflation is raise the rates, I mean, what's the big deal? Why don't they just do that then? Oh, muted. Get out of the calculator. Get out of the calculator.
There we go. Oh my gosh. Okay. So there's kind of an attached, wow. I don't often do that. It was out of courtesy to the rest of you. You're welcome. So as far as there being any kind of a problem, like just raise the rates, things are going to be just fine. There's also a call from Jerome Powell's office to stop paying people so much. Ironically, he's upset that people have been getting a 5% raise year over year the last couple of years. But I mean, yeah, basically saying, hey, you can't pay people more than inflation. Otherwise, this whole thing isn't going to work. So yeah, prepare to basically have fun staying poor, because that's exactly what they're saying. They're saying, yeah, expect for inflation to kind of right size itself. We're going to do these, raise these rates a little bit, a little bit of squeezing here, a little bit of adjustments there, a little bit of, interest rates going up over there, and things will be fine. Just stop paying people so much. And I'm mostly concerned about that, to be honest, Deezy. So, I mean, maybe I don't see a big problem with that. I'm not like some financial whiz kid when it comes to this sort of thing, understanding these markets and knowing what the long-term effects, like knock-on effects of raising these rates is going to be. I don't have any kind of a solid projection that I can work from, or any data that I feel confident is going to prepare me to make all the right choices looking at this. This could be something that we've never seen quite, the likes of before. But I am a little bit bothered by that last bit, right? Them saying we need to raise rates to correct the current economic situation and the inflation, but we also don't want you to improve people's personal situation. This sounds an awful lot like the problem that we had post-2008, where the already sort of dwindling middle class was basically taken out back and shot, right, by the economy. They're literally calling for that now, where it's like, okay, we're going to raise rates, but also don't raise people's wages. I think it's a recipe for disaster. Those two things combined, I think it's a recipe for disaster. It's without being able to point to the specifics and this one other use case, one other time frame in which we had rates raised a certain way. I think that it's frankly immoral for them to call for the two things, doing the rate adjustment and then also calling for wages to drop.
I agree. Immoral. I think that's it's a good word. It's a good description. Now, when, not if. I know the XRP Army is going to like hearing that. Now, Mind Your Biz, in relation to Swift, do you think that Ripple is a good solution for this, whether it's a, technology standpoint or even a security or privacy standpoint?
That's a tough thing to answer, because I mean, you think we talk so much about blockchains and cryptocurrencies here on Around the Blockchain, of course, and in all of our respective channels, and we talk so often about permissionless and decentralized technologies that for me it's really hard to get behind the both the tech stack and the corporate entities that control all of this value flow, whether it's just an information network or there is value on a network being exchanged. For example, real-time payments. It's got the technical specification and capability of being able to transmit $100,000 tranches or more interbank, but they're actually going to choke that bandwidth down for this initiative to $5,000. That's half of the travel rule allowances that they're going to choke this little new system down to for people. So for my part, I'm not very excited about this. It does not get me revved up in any way, shape, or form. It just looks like more of the same, but with even greater restriction. Sure, it's faster, but you still have some of the same centralized entities, gatekeepers, and choke points that you had before. But it's kind of what is it? It's a dyno, decentralized in name only, if at all. So I'm not super excited about this. Yes, it's innovation. I don't mean to to completely elbow drop everybody who's involved with this thing, or certainly the XRP Army. I know you guys have really high hopes of this becoming a dominant thing, but I'm gonna call a spade. This new stack, the real-time payment system, and what's it called? Clearinghouse, right? So Clearinghouse, I'm sorry.
When I saw that limit of 5,000, I kind of assumed that was to test it, and then maybe they would roll up to 100,000. Do you think they were like flattening the tire before the race started?
No, I don't think. I don't think that's so much that. I don't think that or whatever, throwing on cheaters, kind of smoothing things out and stuff. No, I don't think it's a question of them trying to like show off how much they're going to be able to do down the line. I think that this is a very specific request that's being made in order to wean some of these systems off of Swift, and then intentionally, we're getting show notes behind the scenes here. Just so you know, none of what I'm saying, audience, is actually my own ideas. Actually, the tech over at the Bit Squad. So I don't have an original thought in my head. So if
it's all BJ's ideas.
BJ plus 10
entirely.
And Meta going forward. Which, by the way, Aaron, what year was Ripple founded?
It was either 2012 or 2013, right?
13?
Yes. But
13.
What year did the company actually start?
I don't know, 2011? I have no idea. Tell me.
Different name before 2004 actually is when the idea was conceived for Ripple. So it actually goes back very far. Actually, before Bitcoin. Just saying. Don't tell the Maxis. I knew it because when you said that, I was like, I know it started in like 2012, maybe 2011. But I remember there was I remember there was a website that used to track the entire development of Ripple from conception to where it is now. It was like kind of like a GeoCities looking site. It was awful. And I remember seeing it was very old. It does actually go all the way back to 2004. Right. The original guy who created it, his name is Ryan Fugger. So G's,
okay. That was G's.
Sounds like a very friendly guy.
I'm sure. Well,
here's the thing though, man. When you talk about the foundations, though, here's the thing. Bitcoin, when you talk about the inception, Bitcoin had some of its foundational technology being developed in the early 90s. Because now you're talking about the early cypherpunk movement and the stuff that everybody, the shoulders that the giants upon whose shoulders everybody stands, right? So I don't know if I totally buy that about like the full architected vision and mission of Ripple happening in 2004.
Well, mine,
but healthy skepticism.
Healthy skepticism. What would initially grow into Ripple would start in 2004. But yeah, I mean, nobody would look, you go back, I think there were people talking about, decentralized money back in the 70s even. So that's definitely a very old idea. Coming from
I'm going to go back.
I'm
going back even further. The first anthropod that crawled out of the ocean. Now, mind your biz. You brought up cypherpunks. I'm glad you did, because I kind of want to ask you about privacy when it comes to Instagram. When you hear that Instagram is integrating NFTs, do we all know they sell data, as like Ben said. Do you think that they're going to, is there a privacy concern with linking an NFT to a Facebook or a Meta account? Essentially, do you think they're going to do maybe start looking into wallets, or maybe start tracking? You have above X amount of dollars in crypto. We're gonna put that as one of the data points in your 350 things that we know about you. Is there any privacy concerns for you when you hear this?
100%. Ben and I are totally aligned on this. I think, as far as not trusting Facebook, the mothership, right, the company that controls Instagram, Meta now, there's just complete mistrust on my part. Now, there's a reason that Facebook started to get so heavily into, say, live streaming back in 2016, and all the various implementations of Web 2.0 platforms that they started to steal, embrace, and then extinguish their competitors regarding like live streams and then hosting video. If you go back through all the little features that Facebook introduced in order to try to create an anti-competitive environment so that they could aggregate more data to make it more valuable to advertisers. Yeah, spot on. Perfect analysis. They only exist to sell the users ads. And this will be no different. But like you're saying, the fundamental problem with privacy in a blockchain sphere is that the moment that everything Facebook already knows about you becomes associated with your Ethereum accounts, your Bitcoin accounts, and then you name it, whatever the blockchain is, I don't care which one it is, if it's a public ledger, the moment it becomes associated with all those other pieces of data and correlated, well, guess what happens the next time Facebook is hacked? Every bad guy around the globe has access to this giant treasure trove, this giant honeypot of data that just keeps changing hands, as is currently happening right now. I think I may have mentioned this when we met up live in Miami, but there's a data set that the black hats know about that has kind of just been changing hands after the Sony hack and after a couple of the other social media hacks like the Facebook hack. It's about 4 to 5 terabytes total in data. That's just your name, your last known phone number, email addresses, all that stuff that these social media platforms know about you. That's already in the wind for the most part. And even if it's not your personal data, it could be a social graph or some of the correlated data from a family member. Aaron's the prime example of this here, right? It's like if Facebook knows something about your twin, they probably know a thing or two about you, right? Now, imagine that problem times your other known close associates, right? Friends, people who you went to grade school with. They think it's innocent because they're posting photos of you, and now they're turning them into NFTs, and they're tagging your face. No, Pandora's box is about to be opened. I am very afraid for the next generation. We were already giving away our privacy with the current generation. The next generation that has all this associated with blockchain, I am very, very concerned for.
Well, it looks like, we're wrapping it up now. It looks like Mine Your Biz, you ended up winning somehow from inside the TI-83. Go ahead, leave us with some parting thoughts.
Just guys, thanks for having me back on again. It's always a pleasure to be on Around the Blockchain. I'm as shocked as anyone that the points swung in my favor. If you aren't subscribed to the channel, what are you waiting for, guys? It's free. Hit the sub button, click the bell icon, and then check out Mine Your Biz and the other people on the show. Always a pleasure, guys. Thanks for having me.
All right, and that is all we got time for today. Make sure you check out Meta Money, Frankie Candles, NFT Alpha. Until next time, Biz Squad. Deezy out. I'm hosting tomorrow morning.